This is the real-life story of another woman with a vain husband who was left to some extent because she got overweight. Here's her story.
Hello, my name is Priya, and this is my story, which was very sad to start with. I think women in the same boat want to know if any other woman made it out of divorce to a good life, and I can say, I got there. Here's what happened as I told it to Eleanor Rose. Sometimes life doesn't fall apart quietly. Sometimes it shatters in sharp, painful pieces that feel impossible to gather. I learned that the hard way. But strangely enough, those moments, the ones that feel like they're meant to break you, often become the exact moments that shape the strongest, boldest, most unstoppable version of the woman you were always meant to be. That is exactly what happened to me. I was devoted to my husband and deeply heartbroken when he left. His leaving was so counter to our culture. My family was shocked, but in the end my parents and close friends realized that my story could have a good ending. One of the major things I did was to lose weight, which certainly helped me to take back my life. As I see the whole thing, it's about success blooming from ashes. It's about freedom returning to me. And yes, it's about a revenge so enormous and so satisfying that I still smile when I think about it today. Here's what my early life was like. I grew up with a mind wired for logic and creativity, even though our home was very strict. As a teenager, computers were my first real love, long before anyone encouraged young girls to enter tech. I loved solving problems and building things from nothing. In university, I coded faster than most people could type their own names. At 5'6" and 125 pounds, I was energetic and adventurous. On weekends, I hiked the mountains of British Columbia like they were my private playground. And then I met Arjun. I had big dreams, huge ones, and he seemed to admire all of it. He loved my intelligence, my looks, my innocence. I had never dated as was our tradition, and especially my ambition. We married young and promised to build a life filled with success and shared goals, side by side, equal partners, best friends. We both got tech jobs, then a house, but no babies. At least, that was the dream. Here's my slow decline, both for myself and for my marriage. Life tested me in ways I didn't see coming. Long work hours, constant stress, hormone issues, fertility struggles, emotional exhaustion, they all hit at once. In my culture, a woman's first job is to have babies. When pregnancy didn't happen, it seemed our relationship was tanking. My appetite changed. My sleep fell apart. My energy crashed. My hopes dimmed. I knew I could be a good mother. I had thought I would have kids and go back to work once they were in school. Plus, there was always the nagging from my mother to get pregnant. Late-night snacking became my comfort. Coffee kept me upright in the mornings. High-carb desk lunches kept me functioning through the afternoons, and exhaustion fed more overeating at night. My weight crept up quietly, eventually to 204 pounds. Really, I looked at least 50 years old and hated everything about being overweight. Arjun made it clear in the bedroom that he hated the weight too. Meanwhile, Arjun stayed slim, confident, and increasingly smug. He began pointing out other women's bodies, comparing me to strangers, criticizing my clothes, offering zero support during the hardest years of my life. We grew apart. Our conversations were cold. His gym sessions grew suspiciously long. His phone buzzed constantly. And then the truth surfaced. He had his eye on someone else, a Caucasian woman from his gym. One night, he simply said, "I think we want different things." He pretty much packed a bag and walked out. No apology, no emotion, no effort. My world collapsed. I couldn't believe it. My family couldn't believe. My religious community were in shock. They blamed me. The deepest hurt. There is a very specific kind of pain that comes when someone leaves you because of your body. It cuts deeper than most people will ever understand. I blamed myself for everything: the weight, the stress, the sadness, the exhaustion. Meanwhile, Arjun jumped from one woman to the next, the gym girl, then a co-worker, then someone he met online. He was running in circles, desperately searching for something he had burned down himself. But, over the months, while he was running around, I was slowly evolving into someone he would never again be worthy of. My divorce took months, and really there was little to split financially. My turning point, one quiet evening, I sat alone scrolling through old photos of myself, the strong, glowing woman I used to be. Something cracked open inside me. I whispered, "I want her back." Not for Arjun, not for revenge, not to prove anything. For me, for my health, my future, my identity. I went to work every day and acted like I was okay. Even with my family, I put on a good front. That night, I picked up a book I had bought months before, Quick and Easy Weight Loss, 9 Choices, No Exercise, from Amazon. I thought something has to help. The chapter that hit me like a lightning bolt was the 4 p.m. cutoff plan. It looked simple, almost too simple, but I needed simple. So, I began. I ate most of my meals at my parents' house, on my way home from work. They didn't know that I was trying to lose weight. Really, it was down to 1 meal a day mostly. I had coffee with cream and coconut oil, 3 times a day at work. Mom's food is nourishing, full plates. No night eating, just tea or water after 6:30 p.m. I didn't tell a single soul. I simply began, quietly, privately, bravely. Little by little, my body started to change. Here's my step-by-step weight loss journey. When I started, I really didn't know what I was doing. The first week was awful. Headaches, cravings, irritability. Doubt whispered constantly. That's when I read a ton on the internet about fasting. It was all new to me, and I saw what I was doing wrong. I added electrolytes to my water and found that sometimes I added protein powder to my coffee. But in week 2, something shifted. My sleep improved, my mind cleared, my clothes loosened just a touch. By month 3, my face looked different, I was told, sharper, brighter. By month 6, I had real energy again. At my parents' dinners, I ate real meals, protein, vegetables, healthy fats, no starving, no pills, no punishment, just structure, consistency, discipline. Over 14 months, I lost 63 pounds, slowly, steadily, beautifully. People noticed, but the real change was in my spirit. Here's what I call me turning into a new woman. Without Arjun's criticism hovering over me, I flourished. My confidence returned. My creativity at work got noticed. My ambition reignited. I took a risk. I started my own boutique app development company while I still went to work. It began small, one client, then another, then a big one. Then everything skyrocketed. My income doubled, then tripled, then passed anything Arjun or I had ever earned. 2 years later, I became a respected voice in my industry. I spoke at panels. I mentored young women in tech. I collaborated with major companies. And men noticed. My inbox filled with messages, compliments, invitations. For the first time in years, I felt seen, not just for my body, but for my mind. I wasn't chasing anyone. I wasn't trying to be somebody else. The big revenge moment. My tech industry alumni hosted a luxurious reunion in a stunning banquet hall. Warm lights, elegant decor, soft music. I almost didn't go. But then I chose an emerald green fitted dress, a matching jacket, soft jewelry, and had my hair and makeup done. When I walked in, conversations paused. Heads turned. People rushed toward me. Priya, you look incredible. You're glowing. What's your secret? I smiled. And then I saw him. Arjun, standing alone. Thinner, restless, worn down from failed relationships, I assumed. He looked at me as if witnessing a miracle. Shock, awe, regret. When most of my table were up dancing and for the first time I wasn't dancing, he came over and whispered, "You look incredible." He made my skin crawl. I smiled, gentle, not cold, and said, "Arjun, get lost." Nobody but the two of us heard what I said. I got up from the table and threaded through friends, all talking to me as I made my way to the ladies' room. Later, he messaged. He apologized. He wanted to talk. I didn't hesitate. "No, you made your choice. I made mine." And just like that, the final chapter closed. My new life today, I am wealthier, fitter, happier, and more alive than I've ever been. I am so pleased that my mom and dad have finally come around. I run a thriving tech company. I travel. I hike again. I dance on weekends. I date when I feel like it. I eat joyfully and healthily. I never shrink myself for anyone. I became big in the best way possible, what I call a woman rebuilt from ashes. Here's the lesson I want every woman to know who has been left, jilted, or whatever name you put to it, especially if you have gained weight during your former marriage. You don't need perfection to change your life. You don't need complicated diets. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need one moment of clarity, one simple decision, one spark of belief that your future doesn't have to look like your past. I didn't just lose weight. I gained a life, a new identity, a new joy. And the sweetest revenge wasn't walking past Arjun in that emerald dress. The real revenge was far deeper. I became a woman he could never have again, a woman far beyond his reach, a woman he never deserved in the first place. And that is the sweetest revenge of all.